Hi. Way back in 1942, that's a long time ago, I was a little boy of 6 years of age, and World War II was raging, and I'd been evacuated, as were millions of other kids, from the big cities to the countryside. And I was residing at that time in a little hamlet in Northamptonshire. Now, you might think, well, what's this got to do with you as a retiree? At that time, I used to have a friend who was about 3 years older than me, whose father was a widower, and he was also a dairy farmer. And as a dairy farmer, he had to hand milk 24 cows twice a day, 7 days a week. And his son and I would help out doing things like cleaning out the cow sheds and things like that, hosing away the manure. Not a very good job. But one thing I did notice, that the farmer, when he milked the cows, always sat on a 3-legged stool. Not 4 legs, not 5 legs, 3-legged stool. Just a tiny sort of stool that he used to squat down on with short, sturdy legs. And I thought, why 3? And then it occurred to me, balance, balance. On that cobblestone floor, which was very uneven, it had to have balance when he was sitting down, doing whatever he was doing. The same applies in our lives. We need balance, and we need that balance to be sturdy and secure, and we need each of the lengths of the legs, so to speak, body, mind, and spirit, to all be strong. And not only all be strong, all be of even length. In other words, all of equal importance. Now, in our lives, we tend to not do that. We might be the sort of person who spends a lot of time thinking. We might be an atheist, so we've got no time for the spiritual side of things at all, and we might neglect our bodies. And therefore, by the time we become old and retired, we're out of balance. We need to remember this thing called balance, body, mind, and spirit, and become aware of it as early as we can in life. I'm convinced of that. Body, mind, and spirit. So what are we talking about here? The body is obvious, the physical body, which is our earthly instrument to experience life in an optimal way if we keep it healthy and fit. If we neglect it, that leg, so to speak, of the stool is shorter, and we become unbalanced. It can unbalance our thinking, and it can certainly unbalance our spirituality. So, we look after our bodies. Generally speaking, when we're young, we don't do that. We go to extremes. We take risks. We drink too much. We eat the wrong foods, and we think, wow, I'm enjoying life. And why not? We're experiencing our younger years, but by the time we get to middle age, by the time we even get to 50, say, 50 years have gone, we might have another 30, 40 years ahead of us, and we have to look after the physical side. This is the time to start thinking, wow, I better start doing my exercises, better start doing my weight training, better start doing my running or my walking or whatever it is. I better do some yoga to keep the body supple. So we need to work out a regimen which we adhere to, a discipline that'll keep us fit and healthy into our old age. Now, many of us in the Western world, of course, have cars. Some of us look after our cars better than our body. We make sure the right fuel goes in. We make sure that they're serviced, looked after, oil change and grease and all that sort of stuff. We might neglect our body, eat junk food, never exercise, and wonder why when we're getting into middle age we get aches and pains and our body's stiffening up. So we need to look after our bodies. That's plain enough. So another leg of the stool, of course, is mind. Body, mind and spirit. Mind. A lot of people leave school and never bother learning anything again except maybe their job. Got to learn about my job. Never read a book, just watch television at night. Lifelong learning is what we need. If we're to grow, continue to grow, keep our mind sharp into old age, avoid senility, push it back as far as we can, we need to take an interest in things, apart from watching what goes on in the news and reading the newspaper. Find what you really find fascinating. Study that. Nearly everyone, when they study something for the first time, think, I know nothing about that. I'm not interested. But if they push themselves, they become interested. And once you become interested, you become interesting to other people. You have knowledge about a subject that they might not know about. Lifelong learning is very important. So, do it. Read widely. As Thomas Carlyle said, the famous Scottish philosopher, that man is most original who can adapt from the greatest number of resources. That means the wider your knowledge, the more creative you are likely to be. When your knowledge spreads across a wide number of subjects, you can become very creative indeed and interesting, not only to yourself by being interested, but interesting to other people. Become a good conversationalist. You know what to talk about. And the final leg of this body, mind and spirit milking stool is, of course, body, mind and spirit. Now, I know a lot of people don't believe that we are spiritual beings enjoying an earthly experience. They dismiss it. Maybe you dismiss it. I advocate that you don't, that you study, for example, some of the enormous amount of videos on YouTube by people who have had spiritual experiences, and there are many. NDEs, or near-death experiences. They were a rarity once, but now people are being game. They're being game to talk about their personal experiences, their real life experiences, and putting them out for people like you and me to see. Out-of-body experiences, or OBEs. Hypnotic regression, where people have gone back to previous lives. I know what I believe. My belief is not your belief. The thing is, we have three ways, really, of learning anything. Belief, or research and study, or experience. I might have told you this little story before, but imagine this. A friend of yours says, I know where there's a terrific restaurant, Go down there and you'll find the food is wonderful. So you go to the restaurant. That's knowledge based on belief. But you don't go inside the restaurant. You look through the door and you see people eating their meals and smiling and laughing. You see the platters of food coming out and you think, wow, these people are really enjoying their meals. This is knowledge based on research and study. But you still don't really know. You go inside and you order a meal and you take the first bite. Wow. And you love it. And you think, wow, this is true. Someone else goes inside, they eat the same meal and go, oh, that's very terrible. You see, our experiences are different, but they are our truth. Our truth is our experience. Body, mind, and spirit. Get your own experience in all three. That way, I think, you will have a long and meaningful and happy retirement. I hope you got something out of this one. I know it's a bit,